Too late.
Well, at least he died on the job.
He'd have wanted it this way.
Yourself and one for your dreams. You drift through the years and life seems tame till one dream appears and love is its name. Come true, you only live twice. And love is a stranger who'll beckon you on. Don't think of the danger, or the stranger is gone. This dream is for you, so pay the price. Make one dream come true, you only live twice.
Hey movie fans, Bored now back with you. On this video I returned to my mammoth troll through the James Bond franchise. So this is going to be the 5th movie and the 5th in a row for Sean Connery, the original James Bond. It's You Only Live Twice from 1967, directed by Lewis Gilbert, his first as a director on the Bond franchise. He was also known for directing the British drama Educating Rita, starring Michael Caine and Julia Walters. The script for You Only Live Twice, believe it or not, was by Roald Dahl, children's author Roald Dahl. Yes, that Roald Dahl.
Finito!
That's all?
That's all? Don't you know what this is?
By gum, it's gum.
Wrong! It's the most amazing, fabulous, sensational gum in the whole world.
What's so fab about it?
This little piece of gum is a 3-course dinner.
Baked potato, mmm.
With sour cream? What's for dessert, baby?
Dessert? Here it comes. Blueberry pie and cream. It's the most marvelous blueberry pie I've ever tasted.
Holy Toledo, what's happening to your face?
You're turning violet, Violet!
What are you talking about?
Dahl and Fleming were good friends and worked together later on the family hit smash Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. You Only Live Twice got its premiere on the 12th of June 1967. It was released nationally a day later, and it took 111.6 million from a budget of 9.5 million at the box office. The tagline for this one, and twice is the only way to live. Yes, lame. At the time, this was Connery's last film as 007. The actor seemed to have grown out of the role, as can be seen in this TV interview.
How much longer are you going to go on being James Bond, do you think?
Well, I suppose as long as they keep releasing them and re-releasing them in the permutations, but I've done 5 now over 6 years, and that's it. I've finished.
You're not going to be
completely.
James Bond anymore?
No, I'm afraid not.
Well, do you think you can escape this character? You've gotten so far into it, and your face is James Bond to so many people. I'm wondering if you'll be accepted as somebody else.
Well, yes, I have played other parts before I started the Bond films, and I've played many other parts intermittently between them. It's a problem because I don't think any other actors had such a sort of exposure in the world as in this case. I mean, it's like some sort of Frankenstein. Bond phenomena, you know, it's never happened in the history of the cinema before. So, I mean, I have to fight it, as it were, on its own terms. With the films, in the first instance, I felt that there was a lack of humor about them. And when I raised this point with Ian, who I became quite friendly with and I admired tremendously. What I admire more than anything else about Fleming was his curiosity. His tremendous curiosity about everything. When I mentioned the business of humor, he was quite surprised because he felt he was quite humorous. He was, as a man, humorous, Ian himself, but in writing the character of Bond he wasn't. And that was one of the first things that one had to do, was to imbue a humorous aspect to all the, on a realistic basis. Therefore one would get a sort of upbeat ending to scenes and situations. Therefore they could acknowledge and accept the violence if it had a humoresque quality.
People were divided on Dahl's script and the film in general, so this review comes from the Nerdy site, who say, in Roald Dahl's script, the film almost seems to go out of its way at times to just chuck out a racist or sexist line or two. The charm and easygoing balance of a film like Goldfinger has been utterly lost, and in its place has come this film with an audacious premise and tons of baggage along with it. In many ways, You Only Live Twice is the opposite of the film before it. Whereas Thunderball was largely good until its mess of a last act, it's in the last act that You Only Live Twice truly comes alive and shines its brightest. The review does praise some of the supporting characters and also Donald Pleasence as Blofeld, but it also says that the Little Nelly scene is rad. So maybe take their view with a pinch of salt. In the setup to the film, an American NASA spacecraft Jupiter 16 is hijacked from orbit by an unidentified spacecraft. The USA suspect the Soviet Union. Some things never changed. However, the British suspect Japanese involvement since the spacecraft landed in the Sea of Japan. James Bond is sent to Tokyo to investigate after faking his own death in Hong Kong and being buried at sea. The film was shot mostly in Tokyo, Japan, which would have been rare for a Western film of the 1960s. Despite some stereotypes, the setting and presentation is pretty impressive. The sumo wrestling scene is one such stereotype, but it's a cool little meeting scene for Bond and his contact. There's something more vintage about Connery's shot into the camera intro. The bowler hat is a cool touch also. The Nancy Sinatra title theme is a classy affair and one of the best Bond themes ever. I much prefer it to Thunderballs personally. The movie really is a bit of a mixed bag, so getting into the opening, which I actually think is very novel, I get excited every time I see the spacecraft opening up with a shark-like teeth to swallow the rival spacecraft. It's just awesome. It feels like some sort of horror B-movie and is very unusual. The music's very dramatic and I love the reaction from the NASA control guy. It's just a brilliant opening.
Calling Cape Cod. Cape Cod, this is Jupiter 16. Can you give a go for 4th orbit?
Cape Cod to Jupiter 16. Can you confirm O2 pressure is within limit?
Roger. Everything looks good in the environmental control system.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, mark.
Capcom, this is Chris. I am out. Everything looks okay. Good. The maneuvering unit is working this time. I used it to get out, and it makes things a lot easier.
Cape Con of Hawaii, this is Flight Control. Come in, please. Hawaii, roger. Hawaii, we expect to start EVA over your station on this pass. Hawaii to Jupiter 16.
There is an unidentified object closing on you.
Fast from astern.
Can you give me a bearing?
Appears to be coming up fast from astern.
Hey, now I see it. It's another spacecraft. I repeat, it's another spacecraft.
Chris, this is Mike. Does it look like a close pass?
We're breaking up. Say again.
Repeat, does it look like a close pass?
Hey, Chris, what's happening?
Light, it's coming right at us. The front is opening up. I repeat, the front is opening up. It's coming right at us.
Chris, get back in. Get back in. Jupiter 16 is a space con here. Read me? You're breaking up. Repeat, you're breaking up.
Chris, what's happening?
Hawaii to Jupiter 16. Hawaii to Jupiter 16. Are you receiving?
We're breaking up.
Come in, please. Over. Jupiter 16 is a space con. Hawaii to Jupiter 16. Are you receiving me? Over, please. Hawaii to Jupiter 16. Are you receiving me? Jupiter 16.
My lifeline is
Hawaii to Jupiter 16. Hawaii to Jupiter 16.
Are you receiving me? Come in, please. Over.
Hello, Houston.
Hawaii.
We've lost all radio contact. We've also lost him on the scope.
Bond's fake death is also a fun twist and probably had people scratching their heads at the time. The supposed deceased 007 is rescued post-funeral and smuggled on board the ship and given his assignment. He of course had time for some casual flirting with Miss Moneypenny, who gives him the code, I love you. For many fans, Lois Maxwell is a definitive Moneypenny, having been there from the start, and she would last all through to the end of the Moore era. Her and Connery have nice chemistry, and their scene together is pretty sweet, even if it wouldn't fly today. By the way, Charles Gray of Rocky Horror Picture Show fame plays Bond's informant. Gray would later play lead villain Blofeld in Diamonds Are Forever. More on that soon. And he always plays villains better than good guys, in my opinion. Aki, who works alongside Tiger, Bond's main point of contact in Japan, is a very solid, enjoyable Bond girl. She's very cute and pretty, but also feisty and tough, independent, and she's pretty damn good at her job, I've got to say, pretty sharp wit. Overall, for the era, I think she is a good Bond girl. The film also does a smart little trick where it sets you up into thinking that Aki is going to be the Bond girl by the end of the movie, but then they pull a switch on you halfway through, and that is when they introduce, to quote somebody in the movie, the woman who has a face like a pig. I apologise. Aki's a decent, fun character who's a good foil for Bond at times. One of the main problems with this movie is Bond himself, because for the first time he just seems like a bit of a goof. He seems very naive at times. He's always getting himself into sticky situations, which are of his own doings, not so much the villains. And yeah, a lot of times when he's getting out of these sticky situations, he just seems like it's more out of luck than anyone else, or it's people helping his ass. Bond seems really dumb in this movie, like he hasn't before, so he's like falling down trapdoors, he's being chased around everywhere, or chasing other people around everywhere. In one scene, he's being trailed by villains with guns, and he needs to be told by Aki, hey, look behind you, duck! And at one point he is seduced so easily by a red-headed woman who is so clearly a villain. Come on, Bond, sort it out.
I've got you now.
Well, enjoy yourself.
Who are you working for?
Empire Chemicals, you know that.
Do all their people carry guns?
When they're abroad, yes.
And why were you snooping around the docks?
I like ships, and I used to be a sailor.
You are a liar. Know what this is?
I'd rather not.
Plastic surgeons call it a dermatome. They use it to slice off skin. I hope you won't force me to use it.
Now, what's a nice girl like you doing in a place like this? I have a confession to make.
What?
Actually, I'm a spy.
I know that.
This movie continues to bring out the gimmicks with hit and miss results, but one of the most famous images of the movie is that of Bond's secret weapon, Little Nelly herself. So I'm not so keen on this scene. I think it's way too cheesy, but make up your own mind. There's no doubt it's left an impression anyway.
Hello, Base 1. I'm over the island now. Have seen the fishing village. Nothing to report.
Roger, we'll keep listening.
MVP of the movie, without doubt for me, is Donald Pleasence as Blofeld. Many people have played the classic Bond villain since, but very few, if any, have matched Pleasence's brilliance. He was so good at playing icy, unsettling villains with an air of mystique and a criminal mastermind as well. But in one of the smarter bits of writing in this movie, they actually build up to his very first appearance and to the first time you see him fully face. In fact, you see his vintage white cat before you see him. And a bit like a monster in like a classic horror movie, you see bits of Blofeld before like the whole person is revealed. I absolutely love the suspense and the mystery around him and just how icy Pleasence is in the role. He just gets the mannerisms and the voice down so well, and he has that classic look which went on to define the character in one of many classic scenes, and he is ruthless and has no mercy.
Good. Hans? You will see that my piranha fish get very hungry. They can strip a man to the bone in 30 seconds. I want the sum of $100 million in gold bullion deposited in our account in Buenos Aires.
Our agreement states quite clearly that no money should be paid until war has broken up between Russia and the United States.
This is extortion.
Extortion is my business. Go and think it over, gentlemen. I'm busy. Englishman was in your office the other day.
Correct, number one.
Only one person we know uses this sort of gun. James Bond.
But Bond is dead.
It was in all the newspapers.
Rubbish. Bond is alive. Unless you killed him, Mr. Osato. Don't tell me you let him go.
I gave number 11 the strictest orders to eliminate him.
And did she?
She failed.
You should have killed him yourself. You had plenty of opportunity.
This organization does not tolerate failure.
I know, but you see,
Go! Bond. Now!
When we finally get to the climax of the film, Blofeld is the perfect adversary for Bond. They have a great first meeting. Again, the film saving that till right near the end really pays off. And they also have a great final confrontation. The film does a great job of keeping Blofeld strong for future Bond films. Spoiler, he doesn't actually die, which I really like as a choice too.
You made a mistake, my friend. No astronaut would enter the capsule carrying his air conditioner. Remove his helmet. James Bond, allow me to introduce myself. I am Ernst Stavro Blofeld. They told me you were assassinated in Hong Kong.
Yes, this is my second life.
You only live twice, Mr. Bond. In a matter of hours, when America and Russia have annihilated each other, we shall see a new power dominating the world. Goodbye, Mr. Bond!
The finale to the film is exciting with some explosive action and a cool setting for it. The lead up to the finale is a bit of a slog and really silly at times. So Bond is told he must do some cultural training to get in the mould of Japanese culture to prepare him for the final battle. So this includes stereotypical things like having ninja fights. He must marry a Japanese woman, so she becomes the Bond girl of the second half of the movie. That after poor Aki is untimely killed by poison. So technically Bond gets married for the first time in one of these movies, even though it's in Japan. This whole ritual type thing that he goes through, it's way too long in the movie. It takes up about 15-20 minutes, which is too long. And what's really dumb is at one point Bond says basically to Tiger, hey, it's time to go and get the bad guys. And Tiger says that he's not ready until he completes his training. And that's just dumb, because when it comes to the final battle, what he's learned has nothing to do with all this training stuff. It's absolutely bollocks. The movie at least has an exciting ending, even if this stuff really sucked.
All units stand by for code word. Code word is imminent.
I repeat, holding fast in our vehicle. I repeat, the enemy is blown up!
Steady.
Told you she didn't have a face like a pig. Only in James Bond land. But overall, I'm gonna give You Only Live Twice 6 out of 10. It's a real mixed bag with some goofy and cheesy elements, some stereotypical Japanese stuff thrown in, but hey, the setting's pretty impressive throughout the movie. The pacing is a bit sluggish as well. As I said, it really drags until you get to the finale, which is very good. The action scenes in the movie are pretty well done, but a big negative, as I said, is that it's the weakest Connery has been as Bond, or at least the weakest the character has been with him since the start of the franchise for me, so that is a big drawback. But there's some good supporting characters as I said, without doubt, the MVP is Donald Pleasence as Blofeld. That really sets the stage for what a classic Bond villain can be, and he lays down the marker for that particular character. So he's very memorable. I love the way the movie uses him. There's enough things that pull it a little bit back up to make it a decent enough watch, including the Nancy Sinatra theme, which is one of the best Bond themes and really matches the flavour of the movie. As I said on another review, the themes do count in how you judge the overall Bond movie. They just do, and this has a very strong Bond theme. Coming up next time, a new chapter in the James Bond era as Connery finally leaves, for now, and we welcome a brand new James Bond for the first time, and that is commercials guy George Lazenby and his debut Bond on Her Majesty's Secret Service, which is a notable Bond movie for a couple of different reasons. I'll get to that on the review. So like and subscribe as always. Let me know what you think of You Only Live Twice in the comments below. If you want to watch these along with me, then be sure to watch On Her Majesty's Secret Service before the next review, which I'll try and get up in the next couple of weeks. Another thing to point your attention to is that I tend to watch these on the channel on a live stream. Thanks for listening. You can also support the channel at patreon.com/boardnow for just $1 a month, or you can sign up to channel memberships, which I'll put a link to in this video. But thanks everyone, keep watching James Bond movies, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.
An avalanche of action. Bigger, better, different. It's got to be when he's around. Vistas of sweeping splendor. Different. It must be so if he's in the picture. Fabulous beauties, all of them dolls, every one different. They've got to be when he's around.
My name's Bond, James Bond.
The new Bond.
Suppose I were to kill you for a thrill.
The different 007. George Lazenby. The different Bond from the same stable. Diana Rigg as the Comtessa, the different Bond woman. This one's got class and style. The villains with a difference. Telly Savalas as Blofeld, a new destructive force.
With a difference. If my demands are not met, I shall proceed with the systematic extinction of whole species of cereals and livestock all over the world.
Gabrielle Fazzetti as Draco, a tough mafia daddy with a problem child.
Papa, where's James?
Don't worry, he'll join us soon.
But we can't leave him.
He doesn't need your help.
I will not go without him.
You'll have to.
On the day you marry her, I'll give you a personal dowry of £1 million.
Oh. 007 times more exciting than your wildest dreams. The creative skills of the cinema's master filmmakers.
We'll hit the rush hour.
If you think you know your Bond, think again. This one's different. This one's got heart.
I love you.
time.
I know I'll never find another girl like you. Will you marry me?
Time enough for life to unfold all the precious things love has in store. We have all the love in the world. If that's all we have, you will find we need nothing more.